Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Rambling Through Everyday Life with Fran and Angela. My name is Fran and I am one of the co-hosts for this podcast. All right, you guys, have you ever made many plans and you think, I am really doing this well? I'm stewarding these plans well. I'm honoring the Lord with these plans. And then all of a sudden he's like, no, redirect, plan B, we're doing something different. That's exactly what happened to us this past week, and we cannot wait to tell you all about it. All right, sit back, enjoy the show. We love you so much. Okay, everyone, welcome to another episode. Angela, guess what I thought of this morning that I'm going to address that the listeners could care less probably about, but it bothers me.
I have not one clue what you're about to say, and I'm intrigued.
This is zero significance, okay? Zero.
Let's hear it.
I have thought every time we record, I think, you know what we forget to do, what we're not doing?
Oh, no. What? Our new segment.
No.
Oh. We have 32 new segments. Which one have we forgotten? Okay. What are we not doing?
What did we do quite frequently last year in episode 4? Episode 4, season 4.
The applause button.
The applause.
What? This is I have no idea.
We did video recordings.
Oh my goodness. The YouTube.
Y'all,
you look so cute. Fran's got on her cute little Valentine red because tomorrow's finally February and she's got some Union things and her cute little purse has red in it.
Need to do.
Today's brought to you by the color red at Union.
And Sesame Street.
What do we need to do?
You know what I need to do? I need to bring the little tripod. And let's also just say that when we record, this is the most unprofessional. This is a non-professional recording.
Surely all the people listening expect professionalism at every turn. And I got the little, what's it called that we took to the tentacle. It's a little tripod that sticks to glass. We decided we're so vain. We like to get all up in the window and let the natural light hit our face like a nice little filter. And that thing has little suction cup legs that even sticks it all up in the window.
I think that I need something, whatever it is. I just need to leave it up here. I need to hide it up here so that it's always here.
Yes.
And then I can just open that thing up, put our phone in it, and ready to go.
We need a hiding spot.
We do.
Is that too much to ask? At what point do we get our own office here? Just asking for a friend for whoever's listening.
But it bothers me because I'm like, shoot, we just don't do that anymore. And I think we're fun to watch.
Well, of course we are. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, we'll do better. Sorry. There are people listening that have said, we'd rather watch y'all.
Yeah.
And I always laugh at that and I think, oh my goodness, we're even more ridiculous in person.
Well, maybe next year for season 6, we'll come back with the video. I just don't know.
Maybe next week. You never know about us. Stand by.
Stand by. Stay tuned, everyone. It's riveting around here.
So before we hit record, I tried to be fun, funny, and sarcastic and throw up a peace sign. And I held up 3 fingers.
Yeah.
So y'all decide what that means.
I said, please plus 1. Or peace plus 1.
Oh, me.
I know.
It just is. That's I'm trying to maintain my posture of peace.
Well, and as you all can
3
tell,
times.
Angela's a little on that's another word I cannot stand.
What?
Snotty.
Oh, I thought you were going to say phlegm. That's another terrible
That's a horrible word too. But snot is an awful word.
I wish we could put a voice filter over whatever this mess is coming out of my mouth. I know it's my voice is just bad.
It sounds
I'm so sorry.
Yuck.
And the horrible thing about all of it is I feel so much better. But this, whatever it is, like
post-Disney crud.
Well, but Carl got sick before I did, so we're not blaming Disney World for this because he didn't go. But he was sick the day we came home, and then I wound up with it. And it won't, like, you think you're doing okay, and then the next day it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. This thing, and I've seen now my TikTok feed is full of people saying I have flu A and I think I'm dying.
Oh,
like that's the whole thing right now. If you're listening and you have been sick, you have our sympathy because it has been horrible.
Yeah. Well, knock on wood, I haven't gotten it yet.
Well, I learned about something new this morning. I don't drink coffee, so I don't go to Starbucks often, but a friend of mine said, go get a medicine ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Where
like,
you been, Mama?
I asked Fran, I was like, am I being pranked? Because she was like, ask for a medicine ball, but it's not on the menu. And you see these people on TikTok that are like, they'll be like, hey, Dad, order this, whatever.
I know.
And it's not even a thing.
Yeah.
So I was like,
well, also, they're dumb to fall for that.
Well, yeah, that's
you
true.
know. But a medicine ball is real.
It's real. It's chamomile. And then I was like, okay, I said, do you have a medicine ball? And he was like, well, yes, ma'am. And I said, can you tell me what's in that before I, It's chamomile and honey. And I don't know what else.
Does it have a little bit of a lemon flavor?
Lemon.
I love it. Now, I don't get it a ton, but I do enjoy it, but I don't know if it helps, or it could just all be psychological.
Any hot drink helps you just be able to breathe a little bit.
Do you want to do what was another option for you if you didn't get the medicine ball? What
whiskey? I don't believe they have that at Starbucks. One night I was so bad, Carl said, you are not going to want to do this, but you just have to. It's a hot toddy with like a spoonful. It was like Mary Poppins, a spoonful of sugar. It's like a spoonful of honey and a spoonful of something and some whiskey. It was like some old wives' tale something.
But that's what they did back in the day. And I guarantee you it worked.
Well, it made you go to bed.
Yeah. Knocked you out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, medicine ball, fireball, whatever. Pick one. But yeah.
I don't even know what a fireball is.
I don't either.
Yeah. Well, what is it? Is it whiskey?
I don't know. Yeah. And there's a candy. There's the cinnamon.
Yeah. Is that a fireball?
Like a jawbreaker?
I don't know.
We're not good at this.
I feel like I should know what a fireball is, but all of a sudden I'm like, what is a fireball?
One day we were like, do we need whiskey? Is this witchcraft? I don't know. Because it's like, you need essential oils and you need this and you need that. And it's like, and then there was the oscillinium, blah, blah, that my sister says is from a duck liver. And she said, if you want, and it's $30 at Target. She said, if you want to go get that big long O word, it tastes like candy. It's little, almost like Pop Rocks.
Yeah, you put them on your tongue.
Yeah, and they just dissolve. And she said, if you want to feel better by taking that, you go for it. But I really don't think it actually does anything.
But you know what? When you're so sick like that, you don't care.
No.
I'll take anything.
I was like, give me emergency. Give me, I was taking zinc tablets. I was taking all the
oils.
things.
Did you put oils on?
I don't know that I ever did.
Yeah. Do you have any?
I'm sure. My sisters are the doTERRA queens. But I was so flattened out of commission for a few days that it just, looking back, I'm like, man, I was out of it.
So when we got back from Disney, we got back on a Monday, Martin Luther King Day. When did you go down?
By Wednesday.
Well, we recorded with Susie the recap.
When did was that Wednesday when we recorded?
Yes, and you were starting to wonder then.
When I played that podcast back, I thought, I don't sound good. Like I could hear that I was coming down, but I was in total denial because who's got time to be sick? So Wednesday and then Thursday morning, I was like, no matter what I say to you, I'm fine. No matter how I sound, I'm fine. Because, Saturday, when we got back last Saturday, that was the big HOLDFAST conference.
Yeah.
And you and I were scheduled to speak, and Susie and Susanna, and I was so excited about it. We've talked about it for so long. I knew in my heart that we had a really great message to share to encourage women. And guess who did not get to go?
Listen, y'all, I really wish I would have taken my picture when I listened to your Voxer that night.
So let's back it way up. So Fran was in charge of a leadership event at Union that had been rescheduled due to snow that wound up all in one fun-filled weekend 4 days after we get back from Disney.
Yeah.
So we get back on Monday, and Friday night, Fran is the headline speaker. Saturday, we're supposed to speak at First Baptist New Bern for HOLDFAST. And my job that I love with the podcast or whatever is just to come up with the outline and gather the things and organize us just a little bit.
Well, here's what's also interesting about the HOLDFAST outline is you put it together, and I had maybe looked at it twice.
We talked about it a lot.
We talked about it, and I wasn't worried about, I can step into any conversation. Am I bringing value to the conversation? That's always questionable.
Well, but this is the conversation we've had for 10 years.
That's right. And so I wasn't super worried about it. And I just thought, we'll be fine. Angela's just going to carry me and she's going to say things and it's going to jog my memory, because so much of my attention was on this Friday night talk, which was completely different content than what we were talking about Saturday.
And you probably couldn't be as funny.
No.
On Friday night, you probably had to be a little more serious.
Yeah, because I'm trying to be an adult.
So by maybe Friday, you said, okay, you cannot be sick, because if you're sick, I'm going to have to be sick, because
we're both going down.
We're both going, because
I couldn't do it by myself.
Right.
I didn't have my mind wrapped around it to show up.
It was never the plan.
No.
It was never the plan. Our plan. It was never our plan.
Yeah.
So Friday about 4:30 or 5 o'clock.
Oh, dang. Did you know then?
Oh, I knew before then.
Okay.
But I knew that Fran was speaking sometime Friday night. I just assumed 7. I don't know what time you spoke. But in my mind, I thought, okay, in and out of delirious fever, I'm going to have to come up with a plan B. So I thought, okay.
Jewels in your crown right there.
At some point, maybe around 2 or 3 o'clock, I thought, yeah, I know that I just have tried to completely ignore this, but I'm not okay. And then I thought, I'm not doing anybody a favor anymore by pretending everything's fine. It's time to tell somebody. And I couldn't tell Fran. You could not have made me tell Fran something like that before Fran. I never, ever, ever would have done that to you.
I would have cried.
So that whole time, I'm thinking, protect Fran until she gets off the stage. And I reached out to sweet Pammy, who is our new friend, who was in charge of all this. And I said, Pammy, I'm still planning to, I kind of was not truthful with her. I said, I still believe that I can be there tomorrow. I'm still praying for that, knowing good and well there was not one. I thought it would be irresponsible for me to go, because I could tell whatever I had was not just sinus.
Right.
So.
And that's so horrible to accept that.
I had to grieve for a minute.
Yes.
I'll be honest, because it was never about, I'm so great and these people deserve to hear from me.
No, but you had worked so hard. You knew what we were getting up there to talk about.
And just the excitement of how much do we love Susie and Susanna and Penny. And we have had all these meetings. And it was just, I was so looking forward to it.
Yes.
It broke my heart, because even if I never said a word, I was thinking, can I sneak in the room?
Right.
And just see what God's about to do there. But I just, getting out of that, I didn't even make it to my bed. I stayed on my couch with my Lola blanket for like 4 straight days. But anyway, so I tell Pammy, I'm like, Pammy, I'm believing I'll be there tomorrow, but we are going to have to come up with a backup plan just in case. So y'all, she's coming on the podcast and she knows it, and we don't want to tell her story. But Pammy, I felt like, had no idea that Fran, and I want you to speak to that in a minute, we both independently knew in our hearts, after speaking with Pammy briefly, Pammy's story, her vision, her heart for these women needs to be shared. But it wasn't our program.
Right.
It wasn't on us to be like, hey, Pammy, grab a microphone and let's talk about this.
Right.
But ultimately what God did, we make our plans and God orders our steps. And then later, so let me pause right there and say, in my mind, I'm thinking, not manipulate, but I'm like, how am I going to sell Fran on the fact that you're going to be fine with Pammy? So then I was like, I had all this new energy, because I was like, okay, I have to accomplish convincing Fran that this is the best thing and she'll be just fine. Not that I doubt it. I mean, of course you would be.
I don't know, but there's lots of times when I say, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. This would have been a time where I would have said, Angela, this is not fine. So, I don't know about this.
So we're plotting and scheming behind Fran's back. As Fran is on stage talking, we're praying and talking through, okay, Pammy said, you know what? I can talk to anybody about anything. You just give me a few little bullet points. I sent her the outline and I said, don't even read all this. Let's just pull a few things from it that resonate with you. Tell them now about chapel that morning.
Yeah.
Because long story short, Fran and Pammy did an incredible, like what God did through y'all. I hate I was not there to hear it. But God prepared your heart Friday morning at the chapel here. Tell about that for a minute.
So I'm sitting in chapel on Friday, and, I typically go to most chapel services because I want to sit with the volleyball team. And I want to go, like I want to be there. And that Friday, because of speaking Friday night for the summit, this leadership summit, and just all the things that needed to be finalized for that could have been my out for not going to chapel. Mm-hmm. And I just, I didn't remember making a decision. I just thought I'm going. And so I went and I sat with the team, and the guy that spoke that day, I couldn't even tell you. I'd have to go back into that notes, our notes app, and look. But he said something that was using the language to hold fast, to hold on to the Lord. And he referenced a psalm. And I remember in that moment pulling up the notes app where we had our outline and typing in exactly what he said. And as I was typing it in, I thought, man, I really wish Pammy could speak about this. And that was the end of it, because what he was referencing was so much of her story. And then I walked away from it. Like that was the end of it. We have random thoughts all the time. And so anyway, we get into Friday night and everything. And when I'm leaving campus, it was like 9:15 Friday night, 9:00. I send Angela a Voxer about...
Well, and before that, pause for a second, because Pammy is like, I really hope Fran will say yes. And I said...
Fran was like, absolutely yes.
And I said, because I told Pammy, I said, no, look, Fran has had the hardest week. It's been go, go, go. She and I were thoroughly prepared to do what we always do. This is going to be weird to just plunge her off the deep end into something else.
With somebody I don't know.
Never met in person.
I don't
ever.
even know her.
So Pammy and I are texting. She's like, have you talked to her? Will she say yes? I mean, it was like its own little side plot. And,
it was.
And I'm delirious with fever. So then I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, did Fran respond? And 10 minutes had gone by. Well, then I'm like, oh my gosh, she sent me a Voxer 30 minutes ago. It's 9:30.
Yeah, I do remember.
I hope she's still awake.
Oh, heck yeah, I was. But I was so excited over how the event had gone. I was just happy to have that part behind me. And I was saying things in the Voxer like, tell me what time you want to meet tomorrow. Tell me where you want to meet. Tell me what you're going to wear so that we kind of match.
To that going, oh, no. Oh, no. So then I sent Fran this big old, no, Fran, don't be alarmed. What did I say?
No. You sent me a text and
because
you said,
hadn't checked it.
That's right.
You hadn't checked your Voxer, and I was like, she's going to go to sleep and wake up tomorrow.
And you were like, check Voxer ASAP.
Because
and
Pammy said, I'm not going to bed until y'all let me know what we're doing tomorrow.
I knew right away. I knew then Angela's sick. This is not happening. And so when Angela starts telling me that we have this plan B and what all it involves, and that I've got to talk to Pammy on the phone, and I've got to get this new outline that she has typed up, and she's going to email it to me. When I tell you,
it felt like 30 minutes or longer went by because you listened to it and you didn't respond.
And I immediately started texting her.
Dying. But I didn't know that. I thought I thought Fran is freaking out.
Oh, I was slightly. But all of a sudden I was awake and like, okay, here we go. What are we doing? And thankfully I slept well that night, but agreed to meet her early at the church. And, this is an hour, 45 minutes to an hour away. And so.
And our plan was to ride together so that I could
keep talking about it
with you exactly what was about to take place.
Oh, and I look at this outline that Pammy had taken, and kind of made it her own. And so lots of it sounded very familiar to me, but then there were parts that I knew that I didn't know. And I didn't know, is this her talking? Is this me talking? Like I didn't know which section I had and all of that. And so I just, I knew that the Lord would be kind and gracious to us. And I knew all that. I didn't doubt that. But in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, I wonder if she's that type of person that you ask a question and she just says yes.
You
No.
can never shut it down.
And I thought, I'm in trouble if she can't give me sentences to work with.
And did we mention the fact that at our first planning meeting, they had sold 150 tickets? And by this point, it's over 300 and they have closed registration.
Yeah. No pressure whatsoever.
But you know what? Okay, so these are the things we talked about. When it's that blatantly obvious of no more safety net. Do you trust me? Do you want this to be you? Or do you want this to be me? Says the Lord.
Absolutely.
And then Proverbs 16:9. I've quoted it twice already, but we can make our plans, but the Lord truly does determine our steps. And I just knew Friday, I kept telling Carl, I was so excited because I said, I know this is what the Lord intended all along, and I cannot wait to hear on the other side of this what happened. It felt like 2 days waiting on you to say, here's what happened.
It's going to be fun.
And I bet I had 12 text messages from some of our listeners who were kind enough to come and then reach out and check on me. And then, I mean, it was beautiful hearing them say, because you were not there and because Pammy and Fran had to do this, here is what Pammy said. And I had a friend with me who needed this exact conversation.
Right.
Because Pammy's story has a very specific, horrific tragedy. And because women in that room had been through something incredibly similar that you and I have no point of reference for, thank God. But the Lord knew that woman needed to hear from Pammy exactly what Pammy said. That is sacred and beautiful.
Yeah, it really was. And it just, in those moments where you really are kind of put on your feet quickly, like, what do I know about the Lord? What do I know about Scripture? What is really hidden in my heart? What can I just talk about without my safety net of you? Like I really was having to lean on the Lord, and it was more of her talking. I was just asking her questions or helping transition, or
and you didn't know her full story.
No, I did not.
And to be in front of 300 women in a sanctuary.
All eyes,
very hard conversation.
Yes, everybody's looking at you.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking at you. But she is just a precious human being. And the Lord gave her this theme, hold fast, however many months ago, knowing good and well she was going to be telling her own story of how she would hold fast.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And it's just so, so sweet and so kind of the Lord that she didn't have to come up with content. She was sharing as much of her testimony as she was comfortable doing. And it was just beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And to sit there in that space with her, it was really special. It felt very, it was a privilege. It felt very holy because her story does have some intense tragedy to it. And it was so beautiful. And then darling Miss Susie Q pops up.
I can't wait to hear about this. Tell us about Susie.
Well, here's the thing, y'all. Susie sat here and claimed and said, I don't know. I've just never done this before. Blah, blah, blah. And then little Miss Priss, she's
a pro.
She prances up there. She barely looks at a note. I am not kidding you. She had her stuff on a podium, or not a podium, just a table, a high top table. And she had darling pictures of the family and all this stuff and the people, her friend that she had run with. And, she walks away from that table and is just talking like the champ and pro that she is.
I love it.
And I was so proud of her. Like I even texted Dr. Dub just shortly into it because I was just so proud of her. I'm not her big sister, but just as a friend, I was like, look at her go. And anyway, and then Susanna Lewis spoke. And of course, that was incredible too.
I love it.
Just a sweet time. The Lord was over it all. He is over all things. He holds all things together. And he knew good and well that you were going to get sick and the twists and turns happened and it's all good. He was honored and glorified for sure.
I will never... This is a double negative. I'll never not think about this moment whenever I hear hold fast or anything,
absolutely.
Probably out of Hebrews. But
absolutely.
One of the first things that I found when we were preparing for it was about hold fast, stay true, and how it's a nautical phrase from wooden sailing ships. And that's what the sailors would literally say to each other.
Yep.
And that week, when we came back from our trip, we had a 4-day week that included all this. And when you and I were talking about that and how, this is the truth that we need right now. They would tell each other, hold fast, meaning hold on to rigging or something solid and secure that had weathered previous storms to keep you from flying overboard.
Yeah. Well, I was about to fly overboard.
You were about to fly overboard. And what they would do is on their fingers, they would write a letter, HOLD, and on the other hand, FAST, so that when they were gripping that rope, those on their knuckles, those letters would show. And Fran said, I may go get a Sharpie.
Oh, I wanted to so
hold
bad.
fast on my knuckles to hang on.
If we wouldn't have had this little, redirection happening, I probably would have done it, because we'll share that image and stories and stuff, because it's just so good. And I don't know, Angela, we've got content for a talk if anybody wants us to come talk about Hold Fast.
We've already had a request to repeat the event in the fall at another local church, and it's going to be so sweet and so fun. But if you're listening and you just need that reminder, it's out of Hebrews 10:19 through 25, but just hang on, hold fast.
Yeah.
And
well, and it makes you think.
Our storms.
It makes you think about, in the storm, what am I holding on to?
Yes.
What am I not holding on to?
What do I need to let go of to hold on to what matters?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, just a sweet, sweet time. It was small town. The church was just adorable, lovely sanctuary. Every female on their women's ministry team was unbelievably kind.
The
worship was incredible. Everyone, not everyone. There were very few people that came to that event knowing what was going to happen.
Oh,
because Pammy didn't share it with her own. I'm pretty sure her own mother and mother-in-law did not know until they arrived that morning. And so people had no idea that this was going to happen. So when they flash our picture on the screen, Fran Thomas and Angela Snyder, and she goes up there to do the introduction for us. And then all of a sudden, Pammy goes, well, my name is Pammy, but today I'm Angela Snyder.
Oh,
and so everybody in that moment was just kind of like, oh,
where is Angela?
What's about to happen here? Yeah. So it was just a sweet, sweet time. Wonderful, wonderful community of women.
And if you know Pammy, encourage her. Yeah. We've already asked her and kind of also told her that she needs to come on the podcast. Y'all will love hearing from her. She's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
She just makes me feel closer to the Lord. When you know somebody that's walked through something like that and they reach back and go, hey, hold on. He's held me. He's holding you too. Yeah. It just means more. It's different.
Yeah. Okay, what else do we want to talk about?
I told you the other day, this is totally changing gears, but Baby Brownie flew to the school across the street.
Y'all remember Baby Brownie?
Y'all remember our swan, Baby Brownie?
Is he still brown, Angela?
He was never brown.
Yeah, he was. He was gray. Sorry, gray. Okay. Yeah.
Well, we can call him brown.
Yeah.
Yes. He's almost completely white.
And isn't that so fascinating? I don't know these things, but apparently this is what they do. They're born that color.
Like the ugly duckling.
Yeah.
And then they turn more white. He sustained a foot injury.
Well, how did he get a foot injury?
Carl thinks maybe he got run over. Our swans are very mischievous.
Right up there on the driveway, people.
They've got a 5-acre lake, but they love to go down by the road, and we live on a very busy highway. And anytime it rains, there's a little drainage ditch with very shallow water. And there's a lot of clover flowers all around. I don't know if it's crickets. There's some kind of bug that whenever there's shallow water in those ditches, they love it. So that's where they go.
Okay.
And one day we came home and one of the swans was literally walking down the middle of the highway on the yellow line, like literally in the middle of the highway.
I'm not surprised by this one.
And it just gives you a heart attack because you're afraid they'll die right in front of your eyes. So he thinks that's what happened. When we had this cold spell in the snow a few weeks ago, or whenever that was, he was worried if the pond froze over and he had a bad foot that Baby Brownie might get eaten by a fox like his grandmother Eden years ago. So Baby Brownie had to go to jail, essentially. We put him in a little crate inside our shop, and it was miserable for all of us. He was not happy.
Does he cry?
He
doesn't. Do they make a sound?
trying to think about it. Yes.
Imitate that for us, Angela.
I'm trying to decide if I can do it or not.
Let's give it a shot. You're medicated. Come on.
The way I sound, I could probably do
Let's do it, Angela. Just try.
It's a cross.
Do it. I'm not looking. I'm covering my eyes. I'm not looking at her, but I need to hear it.
It's not a honk, and it's not a growl, and it's not a. Fran has her hands over her eyes like the little monkey emoji.
I'm not looking. I don't want you to. I want you to be able to do it. I want you to try.
I don't think I can.
Try.
I'm trying right now, and not one thing is able to come out.
Listen. Shh, everybody listen. Shh, everybody be quiet. Everybody listen.
You're going to get me so tickled. I'm going to call for 10 minutes.
Listen. Okay, Angela, everybody. You can hear the sound in your mind. Can't you hear it? Okay, shh.
When nobody ever listens to the podcast ever again, they'll be like, yep, that was the last straw.
Not a honk and not a growl.
And not a growl and not a hiss, but somewhere in between all those things. So kind of.
Okay.
So
meanwhile, we're all Googling what does a
swan sound like?
Totally am right now. Keep talking.
So his foot heals, and then when we put him back out with the mom and the dad, they are back to ostracizing him. Remember when they bullied him?
I just don't understand
tried to kill him, and so now we have to. He will be, when it's dark, they need to be on the water for their own safety. So we'll find him up near the house, and we have to just literally get out and chase him down to the water for his own sake. But hopefully they will learn how to be nice to him again. I think that little week he had in timeout made them decide that he's not cool anymore. I don't know.
Okay, here.
Did you find a sound?
Hang on. It's coming, y'all. I see it on the YouTube video right now. Oh, I need to. Is that it?
No, but it's,
Okay,
yeah,
kidding.
Sure.
Just kidding.
So then 2 nights ago, we order carry out from our favorite local Mexican restaurant, Los Portales, and I pull up into that first little spot where you pull if you're carry out only. And I see a commotion, and I'm like, what is happening? And there are kids running around, and there's people videoing something. And I realize that there are 2 white geese from the church next door who have decided to come visit the Mexican restaurant. Yeah. They have a tiny little beautiful fountain in front of the restaurant.
Those geese, what are they?
I think they're geese.
Yeah, okay, because they have ducks too.
Have they been there before?
Well, they go everywhere. I have heard many stories of people having all around that area that have to take them back or
they're prone to wander.
They are prone to wander, yeah.
So they were still like statues. And my car is like right in front of them. So
Two
I've got 2 of them,
okay.
A pair. And I mean, they stood perfectly still until some cute little 6-year-old with a grin on her face got a little too close. And then they turned loose. They started hissing and honking. And
they flap their wings.
Flapping their wings. And the kids would almost die dead right there. They were so terrified. And the daddies would either laugh or come to their rescue. It was a mixed bag between but it was so funny because I was on the phone with a friend of mine trying to wrap up that call, but I was entertained. So I was like, no, keep talking. I need to watch more of this. So I bet I saw 5 different families over the course of that time come outside, have the same reaction, video, the kid would get too close, and then here come, and every time, it's like the geese knew what they were doing.
Oh, I think they do.
They would. It's like a setup.
Yeah.
Like, okay, be still. Here comes somebody.
Yeah.
They're so smart.
Well, I think you're the animal whisperer, and
maybe
not that. That's not true. But you're just everywhere you go. There they are.
There they are.
There they are.
Like Dr. Doolittle.
Anyway, okay. Well, on the next episode, we have some fun. Fran has some fun news.
We sure do. It's going to be your real birthday week.
Oh, it sure will.
And we've got some Fran things that y'all need to know about.
Well, and it's another twist and a turn where I don't even know that I've shared hardly anything about this.
I don't think so.
Okay.
How's that for suspense? Yeah. This is your cliffhanger episode to make up for all the shenanigans in the middle.
Oh, as always, y'all are fantastic and so fun and kind to listen to. We love you so much, and we pray that you have a super duper week. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Okay, Bible recap. Any of you doing that plan this new year? Y'all know that I try and fail. But hey, it's early February and I'm still in it. And I hope you are too. And if you're not, it's not too late. Start today. You can find the reading plan in the Bible app or on Dwell, and then listen to the amazing podcast recap that Tara Lee Koppel does. It is so very helpful. Okay, you guys have a great week. We love ya.